It is the Field of 68 After Dark, Sirius XM, Channel 84. I'm John Fanta. We've got Ashton Gibbs. We've got Randolph Childress. We're presented tonight by Bracket Fanatics. Jump into our pool. More info to come on that. We're presented tonight by Bet Rivers. So, gentlemen, the Field of 68 is out there. We get going with first four action. That begins tomorrow night, Tuesday night in Dayton. But let's look at the potential of Thursday and Friday matchups here. I got to tell you, I'm really intrigued by a couple. I think the pot of Houston and UAB, as well as Illinois and Chattanooga, is really, really fascinating. Love the 5-12, 4-13 pots because they just spell chaos. Do you stay in that direction, RC, or do you go in a different one with a matchup or two that you really love?
I love the 5-12 matchups, but I'm also going to add the 8-9 to Carolina Marquette. You know, that matchup coming out of the gate for both of those teams. I mean, those are two teams, we were down at Carolina and they got hot, and we were really impressed with Marquette at one point in time. I think that'll be, a tough matchup for both teams coming out the gate.
I like the 6-11. We talk about Alabama and either Rutgers, Notre Dame. That's going to be a really good matchup. Obviously, Alabama pushing the pace, guard play is big time. I have Rutgers making a run. So you talk about Ron Harper, Geo Baker, those guys, obviously Jersey guys, but I got to ride with my Jersey guys, Randolph, at the end of the day. But it's going to be a good game.
You're going with your heart, man. You're going with your heart, man. You can't do it.
It's
a little bias involved.
You can't make a bracket with your heart, man. I'm telling you, you got to leave that Jersey stuff out of it.
What's worse, picking with your heart or having your girlfriend do it in her favorite mascots or what she picks?
Oh, man.
I don't know.
That's a toss-up.
When you pick with your heart, it doesn't typically end well, although I think Rutgers could make a bit of a run. I think it's hard to go from Dayton and then fly across the country some more to San Diego. I mean, there's no favors done there to then potentially have to face Alabama. Guys, Alabama could lose in the first round. They could be in the second weekend. Nothing would shock me with the Crimson Tide. They might be they're as much of a wild card as who they end up facing on Friday, right?
Oh, for sure.
Early part of the season, we talked about those guys, and they had two of the best wins in the country. I mean, they had beaten Gonzaga. They'd gone and beat Gonzaga, and then came home and beat who was that? They had another big win at home. I mean, was it Houston? They beat Houston at home. I mean, so they had that was a great week, and at that time, they were playing as well as anybody in the country.
Let's talk about this 8-9 game, okay? Because this has drawn a lot of attention. Penny Hardaway on the big dance floor. You've got Memphis taking on Boise State. We know what Memphis has done down the home stretch, but man, Boise State has had a great year. They've got 5 guys averaging 9 points per game or more. Abu Kigab is a big-time player, averaging 15 and 6 per game. He's 6'7", and I think Boise State has been underrated in this matchup because people are on the Memphis love train. I got to tell you what. I am sensing a lot of people pick with their heart on this game. It's not to say Memphis can't win it, but Boise State, we've talked about them from time to time throughout the season. They're a balanced team that defends at a pretty good level. The metrics, I think, like them. I think that this is a more interesting game than just it's Memphis back on the big dance floor. Like, I don't think either one of these teams can beat Gonzaga, but this is a really interesting 8-9 game when you look at it because you have the team that gets all the talk in the Tigers against a Boise State team that simply doesn't get the same level because they don't have Penny Hardaway on the sidelines and some NBA greats that are in the circle.
Yes. At the end of the day, Boise, they can match up with Memphis's size and length. That's going to be the difference. You talk about Jalen Duren, Lomax, and DeAndre Williams and these guys. When you can match up with size and length, especially in the NCAA tournament, anything can happen. Anything can happen when guys make shots. So I still have Memphis. I still have Memphis in this one. They're playing really well. I love Duren, and I think Memphis just has an identity now. They're starting to really defend. Making shots. Guys are just coming into their own within the last few weeks. So I have Memphis, but it'll definitely be a tough battle just because of Boise State size and just length overall.
I like the size of both teams, but I think Memphis' ability to defend and their athletes are just it'll in the end it'll be a little too much, I think, for Boise State. I think it'll be a tough game, but I just think Memphis figured some things out the second half of the season. They had that rough patch, and we know it's well talked about. I always call it it started out as the elephant in the room. I think they nicked the Memphis fans, called it the skeleton in the room. So I'll leave it at that. But no, I think it's I think Memphis prevails on that one.
Hey, by the way, we have Todd Golden from San Francisco coming up on the show, and San Francisco's dancing for the first time since 1998. We will get to them in a little bit. They're going to take on Murray State. That's one of my favorite first-round matchups because Murray State is 30-2. I mean, are you kidding me? The season that they have put up, the Racers, I don't care who, what, when, where you're playing, 30-2 is 30-2, and that backcourt is big time. Tevin Brown is a big-time player who can fill it up, and they got a couple of those guys. I mean, we've heard KJ Williams talk about him, what he does inside, big-time player as well for them. We're going to get to the Racers and who wins that 7-10 game. We're talking favorite first-round matchups and overall thoughts on the bracket. Here's my question to you guys, okay? I'm going to go off the one line here. When you look at the bracket, and I'm going to give you questions, I'm going to give you some time to lead to this question so you can take a look. When you look at the bracket, who is the 2, 3, or 4? The 2, 3, or 4 seed in this bracket that you believe should feel really good about themselves and where they're at right now? And I'm going to give you mine. Wisconsin should feel great. They should feel great. They're going to get the winner. Why not? They're playing in Milwaukee and Chicago. You tell me why right now.
You telling me that Jonathan Davis is healthy?
Yeah.
You don't pause on me, Fanta. Don't pause on me now. Can you assure me that he's healthy? That he's 100% healthy, not good enough to play, that he's 100%. Can you tell me that?
Jonathan Davis is injured. Johnny Davis is healthy. Okay. I'm assuming that he's going to be okay to play. It's the NCAA tournament here. You don't think so?
No. Will he play? Yes. Is he 100%? I don't know. And that's my question. If he's 100%, then I can understand that. But I didn't see that when he came back. I thought he was still, he didn't seem like he was himself when he came back. So maybe time will tell. Maybe the day's off. He's healthy right now. If he's back to being who he is, then hey, I won't argue that. But I need to see it. I need to see it.
Okay, so what team outside a number one should feel really good about where they're at?
Kentucky.
Yeah, I have Kentucky.
Kentucky. I think Kentucky's going to the Final Four. Like I think their bracket is. I mean, I think there's a lot of good teams in that bracket, but I don't think any of those teams match up with Kentucky. I think of all the 2, 3, 4 seeds, I think Kentucky has to feel the best of that group. I don't know anybody else that we can even say should feel as confident as they do. Maybe Auburn, but.
Yeah,
Auburn's the other one.
Right.
But Kentucky overall, I just think with their balance of the veterans and the young guys that they have, Oscar Tshiebwe, I don't think it's anybody that can handle him down low. Just looking at their bracket, they'll play Purdue, which will be, a tough one. But besides that, I just think they're ready.
We'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see. Guess what? The more I'm looking at it, keep an eye on Purdue here. I still could see them bowing out in the second round. I really think that. And I know that's a hot take here. It's probably scalding to some people. But what? They're going to get the winner of Texas and Virginia Tech. Guys, if Texas beats Virginia Tech and then faces Purdue, think about how battle-tested Texas has been all year. You think they're going to get rattled when they see Purdue on the other side? Hell no. Hell no. And all it takes is one team to show up and play confident. And at the end of the day, Texas has dudes. They do. I mean, Timmy Allen and Courtney Ramey and Andrew Jones, like, it's just a matter of whether or not you put it together. But you think about all the 1 and 2 or 3 possession games that you play in the Big 12. that league prepares these teams for the NCAA tournament. And the Big Ten got 9 teams in. And why am I saying here right now, I still don't think the Big Ten is the league that's most capable of winning the whole thing. That's amazing. They account for the heaviest percentage of the field, but I still don't think that. And that's not a hot take because I think we all would match that. I look at Texas on their freaking best day. Texas is more of a 3 or 4. And if you're saying that you were out on them, like our friend Goodman said, this is a new season. This is a new season. You beat Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, for them, it's a new season. The championship you won, don't bring it with you to Milwaukee. Leave that thing on campus. This is a whole new season. So I don't know if it's a guarantee that Kentucky even meets Purdue. All the more reason. Out of the 3 seeds I would have wanted to meet if I were Kentucky, it's Purdue. Purdue doesn't defend. And Kentucky, if they're rolling offensively, I don't know what you can do.
I don't know if Purdue gets past either team, Texas or Virginia Tech. Yeah. I don't have them going past that next round. So
why is
it doesn't matter who they play. Because I think if they play Virginia Tech, if you're not familiar with them, Hunter Couture is a guy. I just said before he's a really good, one of the better two-way guys. And you're going to put him on Jaden Ivey, provided he doesn't get in foul trouble. And he's going to lock. He's a hell of a defender, and he's going to lock in and do that. And not that you're going to – all you're going to try to do is make him take tough shots. You got bigs behind you. They're going to play almost inverted. They're going to make the Purdue bigs play on the outside. Justin Mutz and Kiwi Aluma are going to play on the outside. They're going to shoot threes. They're going to pick and pop. Like, they're going to put them in space. And they got the right guy that thinks defensive-minded, that thinks defense first to guard, to make everything tough for him. So I like the matchup. I think the point guard play, right now, Storm Murphy's playing probably better. He's played better than he has all year long, and one of the reasons that they were ACC champs. So I got Virginia Tech beating them in the next round.